Hello everyone and welcome to today's lesson. In this lesson, we're going to learn how to summarize data in Microsoft Access. There are two ways to do it. You can actually use the select query, which we already covered, or you can use the cross-tab query, which we're going to cover in this lesson. Alright, so let's start. In order to start, we're going to go to our query design tab here. And we're going to add a new table, which I already included in the lesson. And the table's name is client list cross tab. Just click add. And the table is pretty much the same. The only column that I added is gender. And this is just to demonstrate complex summaries in Microsoft Access. All right. So I'm going to start with the select query here, just to demonstrate how we can start summarizing data. And what I want to do is I want to summarize data by discount. So if I open this table first, I have my discount column, yes and no, and I have my total orders. So what I want to do is I want to sum all orders for yes and sum all orders for no, just to see how many orders I'm getting for each segment here, for yeses and nos. So let me show you what I mean. Okay, I'm going to save this query as 5 select group and press OK. So in order to start summarizing it, I need to add a discount column and total orders column. All right, so just two columns, and I'm going to go to my design and run it. Okay, so now I have my yeses and nos, and I have my total order numbers. This is not exactly what I want because I actually want to have two rows only, yes and no, and I want to sum all these values for each. All right, so I'm going to go back to the design, and the way to do it is you click on the totals here, and you see that this row comes up and it says group by, and total orders has the same value, group by. So what we want to do here is we know that we want to group by yeses and nos. So basically we want to group by discount. And what we want to do for each is we want to sum it. Okay. It is much easier when you see it, so I'm going to run it again. Once again, group by discount and sum for total orders. And here we go. So what happened here is we summarized or summed all the no's together, and we summed all yeses together. So in Access language, group by discount and sum of total orders. Okay. We can do more complex summaries here actually. What if I want to analyze it by gender as well? Not just by discount, but for each discount type, yes and no, I want to summarize it by male or female or any other gender. All right, so I'm just going to add another column here. And I'm going to say, okay, not only I want to group by discount, but I want to group by gender as well. Okay, so let's see what happens. We're going to run it again. And so we have another column here, gender, and for each no, we have male and female, and Access summed the values for us. So it summed all the no's, but it actually separated the no's into male and female, and it separated the yeses into male and female segments. Okay, so now my discount policy may be a little bit more clear. Now, this presentation though can be a little bit confusing, right? So I have no's and I have males and females. Is it possible for me to have yes and no as a row and male and female as a column, for example? And absolutely, it is possible. And the way it is done is we can simply use the cross-tab query. So it's going to perform the same calculations for us, but in a nicer format. All right. So let's go to our create and we're going to say query design. We're going to add the same table, which is client list cross tab. And we're going to click on the cross tab icon here on the ribbon. All right. So we know that we want our discount in the table and we want our gender in the table. As well, we want our total orders in the table. All right. So for the cross tab, if you worked in Microsoft Excel, it is similar to a pivot table. If you haven't worked with the Microsoft Excel before or pivot tables before, just watch this presentation and you'll see what I mean. Okay, so for a summary table, we want a row. Okay, so here we have a cross tab row. Discount will be a row heading, so basically a row. And gender will be a column heading. Okay, and we also need values in our table. Okay, not only we want rows and columns, not only the headings, but we want the values. And the values are total orders for us. So I'm just going to go here and say this is our value. Once again, don't worry about it too much. This is just the way Microsoft Access understands your instructions. You have to select cross tab, and then for totals, you select group by, or actually sum for our total orders, and then group by everything else, and cross tabs, row headings, and values. So just we're telling Access what we want it to do. All right. Stop this video at any time if you have to. This topic is a little bit more complicated, summarizing data, and try and enter the data yourself if you need a little bit more time. All right. So I'm going to go and run it. And look what happens. Okay. So this is similar to the select query that we did, but it is summarized in a different way, in a much nicer way. So if I go to my select query, I'm just going to remember this value here. No and female is $224,741. So I'm going to go to the select group here and I'm going to say no female, and that's exactly the same value, right? And then let's test one more. Yes, female, 37,000. So here, yes, female, and 37,000. Okay. And I'm going to save this query for you guys as 5 cross tab. Okay, so you can actually work with it later. Okay, so this is how you start summarizing data in Microsoft Access. You use group by and you do different operations on the data, right? So I can go back to design and actually change and play with it a little bit. So let's say I want gender as my row and discount as my column. And I can run it again and see what happens. So now I have gender, male and female, and then yeses and nos as my column headings, and it is summed pretty much the same way, but the column and row headings are reversed in this case. All right, you can also do different operations here. So instead of summing, you can do an average. So let's try and run an average if you want to do that analysis for each segment. And there you go, we have average values. So maybe once again, I'm analyzing my discount policy and I want to determine what an average order is, and Access can do it for us in a very nice table. All right, so once again, the topic is very complex for the cross tab and select query if you never worked with it before. Some of you may have seen it before, so it may be a little bit easier. Nevertheless, feel free to pause the video and create different summary tables for using the select query or using the cross tab query. This is it for today's lesson, and thanks very much for watching.